All right, hey everyone, it's December the 3rd, the year 2016. Within the past 24 hours, we've received a new address for Ron Paul to be able to write him correspondence. The address is Dr. Ron Paul, P.O. Box 1776. That's kind of cool, right? P.O. Box 1776. Lake Jackson, Texas 77566. I want to play for you a clip right now, and so let's play that clip.
Very good. Move on to IRS. And this is, I know you've come out staunchly opposed to the IRS. You want to abolish it. And currently there's a situation up in Plainfield, New Hampshire with Ed and Elaine Brown. And these people are simply asking the government to show them the law that requires them to pay income tax on their labor. And instead of the government showing them the law, they send a bunch of U.S. Marshals with guns and urban assault vehicles. And I'm wondering, what do you think this tells us about the IRS and the legality of the income tax?
Well, it gives you the perfect reason why we have to get rid of this monster, because of what has happened. And a lot of individuals have taken the IRS on, and some of them have suffered from it. It sounds like they may be on the verge of suffering or already have suffered.
Mr. Schiff, for example.
Yeah, you go to prison, and what they're doing is they're standing up for the law, because the law is the Constitution. Other individuals have done this on the monetary issue. That Federal Reserve notes aren't legal tender. Gold and silver are legal tender, and they go and fight this. So you fight it at your own risk, because it's civil disobedience according to their system. It's weird that you're breaking the law when you're obeying the Constitution, but that's the point we're at. So in many ways, people who point this out and fight the tax code and fight the monetary system are heroic. I mean, I gave a speech on the House floor just recently and called them the true patriots. But I also point out that it's risky business, and I compare them to people like Gandhi, who's willing to speak out and have and try to bring about change in a peaceful manner. Martin Luther King fought laws that were unfair and unjust, but he suffered too. But it takes people like that to stand up and talk about these things and point it out, instead of us all being zombies and just going along. And it is easier to go along with the system, because just the idea of how many times have just about all of us given up our Social Security number?
Sure.
I mean, I give it up. I shouldn't do it on some of those occasions, but I have a bill in Congress that would emphasize the fact that Social Security number should never be used as an identifier, because that's the law of the land. That's the way it was started and still in the code. But, it's universal. It's going to be tied to our national ID card, which is our driver's license. So it takes people like the Browns to stand up and bring this to attention. But it's risky business, because government is so omnipotent.
All right. So you guys heard that from Ron Paul, and I would ask that, Ed and Elaine Brown, as well as Daniel Riley and Jason Gerhard, have sat in prison for the past 9 years, and Ed and Elaine Brown will die in prison. I mean, they have been sentenced to death by prison. And Ed Brown, we've recently started communicating with him. His address is on the left-hand side of the screen. He has asked that Ron Paul simply come and visit him. He would like a face-to-face with Ron Paul. And I know that Ron Paul's a busy guy. He's got a lot of things on his plate. But the Bible does command us to remember those that are in bonds, Hebrews 13:3. And if Ron Paul could be flooded with letters to say, please take one day or half a day and just go visit Ed Brown, it would mean the world to Ed Brown. He's already spent 9 years in prison. He'll likely die in prison. I don't think that our society should sentence tax protesters, quote, to death by prison. I think that's absolutely horrific, and I don't even consider Ed Brown a tax protester. If you know the story of Ed and Elaine Brown, they were multimillionaires, and Ed Brown tells me that they put all the money that would have gone to the IRS, the federal government, into an escrow account. And they simply said, show me the law that says I have to pay the taxes, and I will pay the taxes. And they had all the money in an escrow account, so it's not like they were using the money or they were trying to get out of the tax burden that the rest of us pay. They were simply saying, show me the law. You've heard in the video clip where Ron Paul says that they are heroic. So please, let's all try to collectively get Ron Paul's attention. I don't know what will come of it, but it'll sure make Ed Brown feel a lot better if he can just have a face-to-face with Ron Paul. And he sat 9 years in prison, and I think that it would really mean the world if Ron Paul could find some time to visit Ed Brown. Don't you? Let's try to get Ron Paul's attention. Thank you very much for your time. Bye-bye.